This match review comes to us from Plum, who's here all the time. Very nice down-to-earth homie. Appreciate them. I'm already going to look at this. Let's see. They have 420 hours. Just Blaze. They have 420 hours in the game, so not even at that 500 hours mark yet. So you're fairly newish. You know general things about the game, but you may do some things suboptimally just because you don't know any better yet. I'm just looking at this right now. Badham Preschool, probably the most survivor-sided map in the game. Badham 5, a little bit less so, but like they're all super survivor-sided, so like whatever, you know, like that's extremely aggressively working against you. So like a lot of that may be playing a factor and may not particularly be your fault. So let's go ahead and look at your add-on choice and your perk choice. Okay, so you have double anti-turret. So you have Lambert's Star Map to decrease the range. You have the stagger, decrease stagger from the helmet. So you got anti-turret. That's fine. That's good. Here's what I'm going to say about your perks. With Xenomorph, their tail attack is so good that ideally you should be going for it as much as possible. So you get diminishing returns on perks like Save the Best for Last and Rapid Brutality. I still run these two perks on this character sometimes, but I'm messing around. Like I'm being funny. I'm not trying when I'm running these perks. I'm doing it as like a hee hee ha ha thing. In terms of efficiency, you are way better off running slowdown in these slots, like Pain Res, Pop, Deadlock, Corrupt. You're better running a lot of things in these slots because realistically, you should just be hitting your M2 as much as you can. So it's kind of like the same trap you run into with like Nemesis. It's like you end up wanting to like M1 a lot because you have save, but realistically, you should just be going for tentacle whips as much as possible. So like you don't want to fall into this trap. Lethal is an okay choice on this killer because like it, you know, shows you where people are and you can just teleport straight to them using the tunnels, but your base kit does that anyway. When I played this character, the PTB, and then like the first couple matches of playing this character, I was like, heck yeah, Lethal's a great pick on Xenomorph. But then I realized that my base kit just doesn't anyway. Because if you crawl under someone, you get little footstep indications under it, and if you crawl under a gen, you get the gen noises. So you already have lethal in your base kit if you really think about it. So running lethal is kind of redundant. Discord's great pick because obviously if you see two people on a gen in yellow, you can just right to it, zoom right to it. Otherwise, if you know you don't see discordance, you can just use the normal method of Xenomorph for finding people. So yeah, these three perks I would switch out for something else. Like I said, Pain Res, Pop, Deadlock, Corrupt, something like that. Agi to confirm your Pain Res, stuff like that. All right, good night, Darth. Thanks for hanging out, friend. Rest well, bud. All right, let's go ahead and get this started. You're like, where are my portal spots? Okay, so you see somebody on... Okay. You saw that one, Killer. There you go. So you saw them on Killer. So you know where they were. In this case, you want to just commit to a side. Because, like, there's no resource here. Mind games, I see killers do this a lot. And it's because the only way I can kind of, like, figure out why they do it in my head is because they see killers change momentum in loops. So they just assume changing momentum in loops is always a good thing, and they don't realize why it's a good thing. The reason killers change momentum in loops and just, like, switch sides like that is they're trying to corral you away from a resource. They're trying to corral you away from a pallet, away from a window. This wall has nothing. This wall doesn't have anything on it. So you're not corralling him away from anything because there's nothing there. So it's not a good idea to like do this little like which side we going on because there's nothing like there's nothing here for him over here. Like you're just kind of like letting him stand somewhere completely safe for him. So I would just commit to a side to force him off the wall. But he just leaves anyway. Okay. That was very amphibious. You should have definitely go after him a little bit more. Tailgate him a little more for that. By the way, amphibious was a joke. Some people point out that I've pointed out in my YouTube videos that I say like the wrong saying. Sometimes I do that on purpose. Sometimes it's a meme, okay? You need to tailgate him way more before you go for these. Way more before you go for these. This is not Nemesis. A lot of survivors seem to think it is, which is why they're up in an uproar and they're crying so much right now. This is not Nemesis. You can click drag, but like your attack is a projectile. It hits everything and anything. Nemesis, you can just click drag across an entire wall and the tentacle attack will not stop. This character, it collides with anything and everything it touches. So you gotta be more careful about throwing it. You cannot just throw this thing willy-nilly like it's a tentacle slap. You gotta be more precise. So just kind of like throwing it all the time everywhere, like, doesn't work the same way. Be a little bit more patient. Because your move speed is really fast after you miss, but you still are down for 3 seconds. You are still unable to do anything for 3 seconds. Rapid brutality coming in clutch. Saving you from that icky situation. So you see them on Discord, so you should be able to just zoom over to them. I would still use the portal that you currently have highlighted and just go around, because you don't really have one conveniently over there. I say they're gonna get that done, but now you're on people for chase. Okay. Fine. You can hit her over this. You hit it a little too early. I make the same mistake on this car a lot. It's just like I go for it because I'm just feeling it and I'm feeling good, but like you gotta clear this little hump a little bit cleaner before you can go for that. That was just you being impatient. Okay, you should be able to hit her here. You should have hit that. If you're having trouble hitting over things, aim a little higher. Aim a little higher. Survivors are just tomato cans. Like, that's their hitbox. They're just big tomato cans. They are just a big cylinder. So if you aim a little higher, you're likely not going to miss. So if you're having trouble clearing stuff like that, just aim a little higher. Aim slightly higher, and I'm sure that you will be hitting a lot more of these. The survivor hurt box is surprisingly forgiving. Very surprisingly forgiving. That for just a, did you know? Consider the following. Just a little small thing. That's why you get hit around corners a lot as Survivor B-dubs. It's because you're just a big tomato can. So even though like your character is essentially standing inside the tomato can, right? So you're just kind of like in there. So like even if your leg is still like even if like all your legs have moved past the corner, your tomato can may not be fully past the corner. So that's why that happens. It's very funny. I would go after Zarina here. Yeah, I would say, you know, she went into that other room. Or the two-story. She would definitely be the easier chase here. Yeah, you just kind of break open a door and then do nothing. Yeah, because now you're doing nothing. You're just kind of breaking a door and calling it a day. See, now you choose to chase her, but it's a little too late. This isn't even her. This is Leon. Yeah, you missed out the chance on an easy down on Zarina. And I don't know why you went that. Yeah, because now you're in a chase with your obsession, who you don't want to M1 because you don't want to miss stacks, and you're having a little bit of trouble with your tail so far. So now you're wasting a lot of time in this chase. A lot of time. That should hit him. That happens to me all the time, though. I don't know why. Your tail goes straight through somebody and not hit him. I'm like, okay, cool. Cool, whatever. Thanks, behavior. Disco Dance sometimes is kind of a funny perk, because it kind of almost functions like Tinker, and it's kind of just like almost an anxiety perk. Because Tinker functions the same way, where it's like, it shows you when a gen's almost done, so it makes you like worried. It makes you want to go like check things. They're doing these gens kind of fast. You are wasting a lot of time, but the gens are still going fast. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a prove in this match. I don't know why he does that in front of you. That is not very bright. Coffee gulps. I like that name. Thank you so much for the follow, friend. Hopefully you're doing well tonight. That's funny. I like that name a lot. Okay, you see someone on footsteps and you run away from them. Why do you do that? Why did you do that? You saw where somebody was right next to you and you teleport away. If it was to check this gen, you can hear that gen if it's being worked on from directly below you. So you didn't need to come up to check that gen. You just kind of let them have this save for free. And I wasn't going to say that. You let him have this save. You let them have the save on Leon for free. But, like, that isn't completely game-changing, even though it is a bad play. But now you've done it twice. If you've let two saves go just, like, completely uncontested. I'm not saying be a backdoor Andy every single time a save happens. But, like, these guys have clearly shown this game that they don't care. And they're going to go for a save in, like, 5 or 10 seconds of you, like, not being near the hook, even if they're still in terror radius. So you need to punish them for that. You need to punish them for that. You're checking the gens, aren't you? You're checking the gens. You can hear the gens. If the gens have progress, you can hear them in the tunnels. You don't need to come out of the tunnels to check the gens. This is just a time waster. Yeah, you're checking. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. You don't need to leave the tunnels to check. You don't need to do that. That's just a time waster. The actual probability that people don't hide in lockers often unless they have like head on. So like realistically, if you don't see where somebody went or you suspected somebody was like in an area, you should have done that with your tail and not with your M1. That way it was safe. So not in parts, so I'm new to Xeno. Well, it's something that I guess you just didn't notice. It was like there was something that happened in this match. Apple headphones to game, yeah. Something that's happened this match is like maybe you didn't notice, but like you have heard a gen being worked on this match and traveled up to it. So I don't know if you just did that subconsciously or what. You could have hit that. You just had to aim higher, so it actually cleared the vault. Yeah, I mean, that's a whole main building. I don't blame you for leaving that. Yeah, I would say that's a whole main building. I don't blame you for not messing with that. I always think it's so interesting because so many match reviews I'll say, hey, this map's not very good, it's going to work against you. And in so many of the match reviews, it usually boils down to player mistake. So that is a really good thing because most people kind of like, especially on DBD social media, pretend that like so much of the game is completely out of their hands and there's nothing they can do. I don't know why you don't chase him there. Why don't you just let that guy go? You are letting people get saves for free. You got to stop doing. This is a bad habit that I'm seeing consistently now is you just don't care if somebody's going for a save. You're like, fuck it, have it. Screw it. Who cares? Get the save, get the heal, reset. I don't care. That is so much free pressure you're giving up for literally no reason. I know it's quote-unquote mean to come back to hook or to chase the saver, but, like, you're just giving up so much free pressure for, like, literally no reason. You're 1 gen with nobody close to dead. There ain't no reason you should be like, oh, yeah, get the save, Leon. Just heal her up. We're buds. We're chill, right? You're not going to do that gen, right, buddy? No, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Not a bad build? It is a bad build. For Xenomorph, yes. A character we should be hitting your M2 as much as possible. Then chases quickly. You want to be running 2 M1 perks and lethal for a character that already has lethal base kit? Nah. Discord, so I can get behind. Yeah, you just kind of let them do whatever they want. You good getting into a killer build? I don't think so. I disagree. I think I'd much rather run like Deadlock Corrupt. Something like that. So I can buy time to play with my M2 and not necessarily have all the gens go. So you get 1 kill, Felix. Probably all you're gonna get, fortunately. Oh my god, Tamisa says, rating me, rating me, rating me, rating me, rating. Yeah. I'm suspecting there might have been improvement in this game, just the way the gens were kind of going quick. You don't show that. The one time I actually, out of all the match reviews we've done today, I've been like, okay, I don't need to see the end results screen. The one I kind of wanted to, you don't show it. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Okay, so, in terms of your main takeaways, first one I'll say is the one I've been saying, is that with Xenomorph, you can see footsteps and hear gen noises from in the tunnel. So you don't have to actually leave the tunnel to check if somebody's there. You know, without leaving. So there's a lot of times you're just coming out of the tunnel when you didn't have to check, and all that was intense wasted time. So match time is gen time. So keep in mind that in the future, you can use your base kit to track. You don't need to actually like come out and check. The second big thing, and this is probably your biggest takeaway, this is the one you need to like, this, if there's something I would write down and be like, hey, I gotta stop doing this. This is a bad habit I have as a player. You just let people get saves for free. I don't know if it's like to be a kind killer or you just like don't have the macro awareness yet that like, hey, if that Leon is about, 20 meters from the hook and he's running generally that direction, he's probably headed towards the hook and he's probably going for that save. But you kind of just let people get saves for some reason. I'm not saying go back to hook all the time. That's not what I'm telling you. But like if they're saving quickly like this team was, there's likely going to be someone nearby immediately after you hook somebody and start walking, and you should be on the lookout for that person, especially in instances like in this match where you literally saw Leon going for the save sometimes, and you're like, yep, you can go get it. Like, no. Like, you definitely intercept that saver. Definitely punish them for doing risky unsafe saves. Definitely punish them for that. Don't let them get away with that. My mindset of just hooking someone is basically they're all on gen, go to gens. No, because that's just not factual. Is that usually when somebody is in chase, somebody is already thinking about, I should probably go for that. I should probably be the one to go for the save when that person gets downed. And a lot of the time, the moment somebody gets downed and you see them go up on hook, somebody's already routing their way to the save. And in some circumstances, some survivors are actually near you and you just haven't seen them yet. And they're just kind of like immersing somewhere waiting for the hook to happen so they can immediately farm them off. That happens a lot too. But you should not just let them have those saves for free. Especially in this case of this team where they were just like saving willy-nilly. Like the moment you would dive into a tunnel, they're like, okay, it's safe to unhook now. Like, no, it's not. It's not. Don't let them get away with that. Don't let him get away with that. And that's good for you, because that if you intercept the saver, now a third person has to come off a gen somewhere else, which is your desired result. You want to stop the gens. A third person now has to come off a gen somewhere else and come get the save because you're chasing the saver. So you get your desired result anyway. And third and final thing, not a really small thing. No, it's a really small thing. Is like be more patient with your M2. Like you said, you're kind of nemesis braining it and trying to like just do it every 2 seconds and kind of like click drag around corners and stuff. It's like your power and the way this M2 is powerful is that it does not have much of a windup and it does not have much of a cooldown. It is way more finicky and way more precise than the Nemesis Tentacle Slap, because the Nemesis Tentacle Slap is more of like a, just an anti-chase M2. This functions more like an actual projectile, like a Death Slinger Harpoon or a Hunter's Hatchet, which means it collides with stuff. You have to worry about collision. Like it's something. It's way more difficult. So I would not just be like I would be a little bit more patient with the way you were throwing it. So
yeah.